audio.
Yes, people. What's going on? Welcome back to Saeed TV, and we're live for the debate show. Manchester United need one more point to get guaranteed Champions League football. It's all there for Man United to succeed and whatnot. And obviously, played Champions League football this season after a 1-0 win against Bournemouth, a crucial away win at Bournemouth. Here with me today on the debate show, we've got man like Kaz in the building. Kaz, what are you saying? You good?
I'm just getting my red light ready. You get what I'm saying? And that flickering, annoying light in the background. But now I'm good, man. Just got cut. Sorry, devil in the details. That sharp trim and that, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, for Arsenal's very well, I understand. You had to get ready. I mean, I wish I could say the same. I'm not ready, man. But, man, let's not call it one more point. We're through, mate. Liverpool in the mud. Love it. Europa nights, Thursday nights. Breathe it. Live it.
Yep. Absolutely. We've got Sonny in the building. Sonny, good to have you back on, man. What are you saying? You good?
Yeah, no, I'm good. Thanks for having me on again. A big win, really, an important win. And let's see what happens the next few weeks. Obviously, we know what we're really interested in. That is June the 3rd, but let's see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. Talking about June the 3rd, Danny, free pick for Man City. Listen, man, they're knocking on our doors, mate. You know what I mean? The treble might be next. But how are you anyway, man?
Yeah, no, chilling, man. I mean, good weekend, didn't it? Arsenal losing. Oh, man, Arsenal fans, man. Been talking nonsense all season. Sad. You know, you had to wait. I knew we'd have to wait until May before we could really, you know what I mean, talk to their fans in it. So I'm happy the moment's arrived in it just because they've been talking way too much this season. But good results for us. Liverpool drawing. I don't know what that 10 minutes extra time was, though.
Yeah.
Premier League doing their thing for Liverpool, maybe. But yeah, all good, though.
Mad. We got Staffy, man. Staffy made the call up. Staffy, what are you telling me? You good?
Big up, man. Thank you for having me. It's my debut, people. So if that's enough, if that's not enough for you to smash that like button, I don't know what is. Show me some love down there.
Come on, man. Absolutely.
Don't learn, bro.
Absolutely.
You don't learn, man. Humble yourself. young buck.
Ramsey's in the chat. Obviously, you get me. Like he's showing love to everyone apart from Staffy. What's going on, Ramsey?
Oh wait, no. Hey, Roms, I'm so glad you're here, Roms, because we were just on the phone. I think he owes us all an apology, don't you think?
He told me you rang him up like 5 times at halftime.
No, bro, Roms, answer your phone. I know you owe me an apology, bro. You know, I said I was going to call you in 10 minutes, innit? So, hi, Roms.
What do you want?
Apology. I want an apology. I want you to apologize to the Man United Saeed fan base right now.
No, I'm not apologizing to no one. Just have a good stream, yeah?
No, you said you was winning all the last games, Roms. What's going on?
And I was wrong. You get things wrong. You know what I mean? Get things wrong. I was wrong. What do you want me to say?
So first and foremost, acceptance is the best part of moving on. So you've accepted that you was wrong. Now apologize.
I'm sorry for being wrong about my club. That's it.
All right, cool. You know what? That'll do, Roms. Thank you very much. I'll be waiting for you tomorrow because I will be jumping on Rivals. Thanks.
You don't smash them lights and all the good stuff.
All right, a bit.
Big up Rums, man. Big up Rums, man. But yeah, people, man, we're gonna get into it, man. Obviously, Man City fans are in the chat giving me a little bit of grief in there. It is what it is, man. You know what I mean? You man are winning 3 peats. Our club can't even sort an ownership out, man. That's just the levels right now, man. Our club is incompetent. And you know what I mean? It's almost as if right now they're just, you know what I mean? They're relying on their history, man. And that's what we are, man. So enjoy it. But listen, we'll hopefully be back in soon to come. But we got to talk about today, Danny. Not a really boring game, to be honest with you. If I'm being, it felt like a pre-season game. Bournemouth not really into it as much. But what do you think of the game, man? Overall, Danny.
I'll be honest. I watched the game casually.
Yeah,
I was in the space at the time, just talking ball in general, looking at the game every now and again. I don't have too much to say about the game. We got the job done. At this point of the season, it's just about getting the points on the board and meeting your objectives in it. So I said this 2-3 weeks ago. I don't let the media whip me into this top 4. The top 4 race is a meaty thing. It's a meaty thing to get emotional about. Just qualifying for a competition you're likely not to win anyway. So for me, we met the objectives, man. Simple. I don't really have too much to say about the match.
Yeah, Staffy, what are you saying, man? How did you see that game, man?
To be honest, bro, I predicted an easy win. Didn't really look like it on the score. When you see it's just 1-0, you're probably thinking it's tougher than it was. And I didn't really think they threatened us that much. Yeah, they had their moments in the game, but we always allow these teams to have their moments against us just because we're not the complete package yet. You know, we're not that Ten Hag team yet. You know, but today was a better display than most recent games. I like how much possession we had of the ball. The more you keep the ball, the less you have to defend, and that's just the basics. You know, keeping the ball. Obviously, we don't score enough, but we've been known that. I think every Manchester United fan that watches all the games this season will tell you we don't finish our dinner enough. We don't score enough. We don't finish off teams early in games. And today was just one of those. You know, but it was a calm performance. You know, maybe Bournemouth showed a little bit more fight than I thought they would, considering they're like on the beach. Basically, they have one leg on the beach. You know, so they had a little bit of moments where it was like kind of worrying, but calm result. You know, I never doubted us to not get top 4. I think I'm one of the few. Saw a lot of Manchester United fans panicking. I think I said on your calling show last time, Saeed. I didn't even like that. Yeah. So, you know, just professional job done today.
Sonny, what are you saying, man? How did you see the game, man? Overall performance, bit of a drab game, but how did you see it?
No, I think the lads so far have hit the nail on the head. It was just one of them games where I think it came at a right time playing someone like Bournemouth away, whereby, you know, they've already, you know, assured of themselves of staying in the league. I mean, in terms of themselves, they've conceded 70 goals in the whole of the Premier League. Only Leeds have conceded more. So we were surely going to score at least a goal despite our sometimes competence in front of goal. I mean, the lack of goal threat was definitely missing. I know Rashford obviously wasn't playing, but again, even when Rashford's playing, sometimes he does tend to miss a few opportunities. So definitely something for us to think about in the summer when we go in the market looking for an attacker that can get us a lot of goals. Preferably, I'd love a striker, but, you know, let's see what happens. But listen, a win's a win, an important win. Top 4 is literally upon us now. I know Danny was talking about, you know, didn't like the media whipping him into a frenzy regarding top 4. But listen, it's important for a club like Manchester United to be in the top 4 so that players of a certain standard can come to the club, because without being in top four, and a project that so far hasn't really taken off, if we're being honest. It's an important milestone for Ten Hag for sure.
Kaz, what are you saying?
What cast do you want today? Like context or
No, no,
Shames or
just,
a bit of both?
no, just tell us about the overall game first of all before we talk about the
Nah, be shameless, because talk of Liverpool catching us was a joke, Kaz. That's why I ain't been indulging in this top four race. Like,
The fact that we
be
even gave him
shameless,
class, 'cause,
man.
you know, it was only about what after March. I think that Tottenham draw really upset us, but there was another result that kind of hit us hard. Maybe the mismanagement of the Newcastle game potentially. I can't remember the results too tough, but I don't know, man. Like today's game, like Sancho was the worst thing I've ever seen in the first half. Then the greatest attacker in the second half. Anthony just looked like Anthony of old. Bruno looked like he's just 4 games, wherever he was. That must have put in the chat that he was down, and he just looked like Bruno of last season. The defense done their job, man. Like you can't fault De Gea, you can't fault Varane. Lindelof was another monster again.
Yeah.
Wan-Bissaka just done it. Like Luke Shaw, I think he could have got out to Smith a little bit earlier. But other than that, Casemiro done his what we know Casemiro for. I thought Eriksen put in quite a good shift today for once. Other than that, everything going forward stunk. Marcel, garbage. I've had enough of that guy. I don't know if he's injured again or he got brought off because of the height thing, because Kiefer Moore came on. Dead food, man. And then we saw McFred towards the end. Come on, it's like what? There's nothing really to even explain with that United game. There was nothing exciting about it. Could we have put the game away? I don't even know.
I'm going to bring up a quote from Ten Hag talking about the lack of he says here the only criticism is that we don't kill off the game. We had to produce a second goal, but the way that this team are, it's not easy scoring goals. Danny, what's your take on the striking issue and the lack of goals? Where do you think it comes from? Is it a case of we don't have efficient players up front in terms of the way you're looking at other players in other teams? They're a bit more potent in front of goal. Is it chance creation? Is it the way we play out from the back? Is it the way we, I don't know, style? Where do you put it down to? The lack of goals.
All of the above, to be honest with you. We don't make the final pass that will create a better quality shooting opportunity enough. We shoot too often. I wonder if that's because of fatigue. There was a moment in the game that I caught where we're on the edge of the box recycling. It comes to Shaw. He clearly has to move it out wide because he was sort of inverted, and he just tried to shoot through somebody when the shot wasn't on. And I'm like, is that fatigue? I don't know what that is. But yeah, the shot selection and not making the final extra pass is an issue. Obviously, not having I noticed towards the back end of the game some counter-attack situations where I'm seeing like Bruno and Eriksen in acres of space because Bournemouth are obviously trying to score, and I don't see a running behind. Only guy who offers a running behind in that lineup you saw today is really Anthony, and he's lost his shooting boots for like 3 months. We need a striker. It's really that simple. I think we've scored 52 goals in the league now. I think that puts us 7th or 8th in the league. But funny enough, for big chances, I think we're 3rd in the league.
Yep.
That tells you need to know. So if you're like 3rd in the Premier League for creating big chances, but you're 7th for goals scored, you're not converting. That's really what it comes down to, and that's something. But you know what it is? That's something to at least it's a clear problem with a clear solution. I prefer things like that. Like you get a striker who bags 25 goals, it solves a problem going into year 2 for Ten Hag. So as frustrating as it is, at least I know what the solution is. It's pretty straightforward. At least that one problem is. At least that problem is straightforward, isn't it?
Staffy, how do you analyze it?
Here's my thing, bro. So it's very easy to tell the lack of goals. It's just very hard to explain it. And I have one explanation that makes sense to me. When you look at the players that we play up front, let's talk about today's game. So exclude Rashford because he wasn't there. So you have Sancho, Martial, and Anthony. If you can name one thing that all of them have in common and they're quite good at, you would say that they're good with their ball to feet. They love to ask for the ball, okay? So they're all proper footballers, okay? But here's where there's a little bit of an imbalance in this attack. We don't have these players that are good on the ball, but also know when to, like, all right, I'm gonna make a run. I'm gonna go to that far post. I'm gonna go, like, in between the lines, ask for the pass there, try to like threaten the goal, do something. They all do the same thing for 90 minutes, which is also what I believe, like, you can still play that way, but still have a striker who's smart enough to say, listen, I already see X player and Y player drop into these pockets to ask for the ball. I'm gonna make a different move. So at least if I make that that run to the far post, now we create another option. Because if I don't want to pass it to him, or I don't want to pass it to him, I see someone going into the box, creating some threat. Whether he gets it or not, it's still something to do. And the perfect person who does that actually is Harry Kane, because everyone knows he loves to drop deep and ask for the ball. But what he does on top of Martial, not that there's any comparison of the quality, Kane knows when to, okay, I'm going to make a far run post, a run to the far post right now, and I'm going to get an easy header because these guys are not going to mark me. They're too focused on what's going on over there, so I'm going to do something different. He knows when to have that cutting edge, and he knows when to play ball. And that's the one thing that I feel like we don't have. Because when historically look, even at City, because since they're the benchmark, they don't have, until they got Haaland, obviously, they didn't have one main goal scorer who just is going to back 20 to 30 goals a season. They won the league playing with no number 9. But what everyone had in common is that they were good on the ball, and they knew when to make these runs into the box when they needed to. And I feel like that's eventually going to be something drilled into these players, hopefully next season, when you get another preseason with this manager.
It's more than that, though, than just goal scoring, though, Staffy, man. We lack athletic players, bro. We lack athletes. Man United lack control in, like, just technique as well. This is where it's like, okay, you get your 8. You get your 8. Let's say we get an 8. What kind of 8 are you going to get? That's one. You want a guy that's going to be nippy, but is he going to be athletic, though? Like, them ones that get run over. When you look at how many athletes does Man United really have in a team? McTominay, Rashford, Elanga.
Yeah, but you're viewing it in the worst way. Like,
yeah, I know, but that's
like, because Bruno's actually an athlete. People just don't view him as one.
He's like a marathon runner, isn't it?
He's more of a running athlete.
Yeah, but like Gundogan and Bernardo Silva are athletes. They're actually physical players. But because they have tech and IQ, people downplay their physical attributes, which I think is wrong.
Center gravity, that's why. So what type of players do Man United need? I think we need a mixture of both.
And we need more creative players as well, because we don't have enough.
Yeah, our players are slow as hell, man.
And we don't have enough. Like, it's the Saeed. You see that Bournemouth camera angle, yeah? There was a moment I caught, I think, in the first half where, like, I've noticed Martial's lost his explosion. I noticed in October.
Yeah, he's done that. In terms of that,
I saw it in October, but there was this camera angle because it's lower at Bournemouth. It seemed closer, right behind him, running towards the goalkeeper, and you can see it where his legs look heavy, and I'm just like, fuck, he's done.
Yeah, he's wobbling like side to side, bro. When he was running to get right back.
Done physically, and then in the second half, I noticed some counter-attack opportunities. Nobody making a run in behind. We're not dynamic enough, but that's Ten Hag's challenge, innit? It's why he's here to fix these problems, innit?
I think Martial goes, bro. Whether I like him or not, because I like him as a footballer, but it doesn't mean that I want him to stay another season. Because I think we could still cover. I think we could still cover. Okay, how he is as a footballer, we appreciate it. We can still get someone who's at the same ability as him, if not better, with a goal threat. Because I mean, I said
Carlo Ramos.
Yeah, how much?
Good player. That's not my problem.
It's not my problem. Yeah, but you have to be realistic. If we're talking about number 9. We're talking about a proper number 9. When Bagels goes, and you're talking about maybe Marcel also going, because obviously Bagels is only a
couple, man.
We have to talk about second options here. If Marcel wants to be second option, we might not have a choice but to keep him.
I don't think second option is going to be good, man. I'm not going to lie to you. Second option is Martial. He's a rhythm player, man. He's not someone that just comes off the bench and gives you.
We've got new owners coming, man. When the Qataris take over, don't stress, Kaz, innit? Don't stress, man.
I don't know about that, man. You just never know at this minute. You know what I mean? At this rate, you don't know who's going to become the owner. I think for me though, with our strikers, even Anthony typifies what's wrong with our strikers in terms of he's clean on through on goal, and then all of a sudden it's like Bournemouth get back into their shape. And this is nothing against Anthony. I think for me, next season will be a big season for him. I think he needs to improve on his final game or whatnot. But I like the fact that he's raw. I like the fact that he has got that PMP nature where he can survive in the league for a little bit longer. You know what I mean? But that move there, he goes ahead of everyone, and then he comes back, and I'm just like, that just sums up my United. It's not effective in the final third.
To be fair, Said, I thought that clip when I looked at it, I think they just had decent recovery pace. That the two defenders that covered him, because I was like,
you change your run though.
He went a bit wide,
in space.
He went a bit wide, yeah. But
you know what it is, Saeed? Look, he already hit his quota for his right foot shot 5 minutes before.
Yeah.
So when I see him shoot with his right foot, I don't expect another shot with the right foot for the rest of the game. And that's basically what happened. So it's something he needs to work on, isn't it? I remember Aaron saying when he played football, he had a rule: he'll take one shot with his left foot in the game. Anthony needs a rule where it needs to be higher than one shot, because this is the thing, that Anthony actually does make that run in behind, but he needs to use his right foot more often. It would actually benefit him using his right foot more often, because then the defenders will buy that feint and make it easier. It's not coming on the left. It's just too predictable. That's the issue.
I think you're missing something. I think you're missing something a little bit as well, because this is what we famously don't do. Man United's not brave enough. And I'm talking about just getting midfielders beyond the man. Eriksen's never going to run beyond the man. Only Bruno's not doing that as much. And it's like sometimes the feint run from two midfielders alone, or maybe the left back can cover, maybe the inside winger can do something. It's about just taking players out of position just to make them think a different. This is how City get their goals, a lot of their goals. That's why they've got technically not even 2 8s, they've got 2 10s behind Haaland to make those runs. So that means the defenders and the midfielders have got something else to work out, and then there's potential, there might be a potential opportunity at goal. You know what I'm saying? Man United, we're so pragmatic at the moment, and it's not Ten Hag's fault, it's just because what we got. And I think if anyone knows Ten Hag football of what we're used to seeing, because Ten Hag's football could evolve into something different for the Premier League, he's known about for the chances. He's literally the final 4 players that are up there and potentially overload. It's about solving problems themselves. And you can clearly see who's got IQ and who doesn't, and who needs the help and who actually needs better players around them. And it's very evident. That's the annoying part.
I think we can all agree that we need an upgrade on Eriksen though next season. I don't think there's anyone here that I would love to have in my team still. I'm not saying sell him. He's a great option, a great squad option, but definitely need an upgrade, because like you said, you need something different sometimes. Eriksen is not that guy who likes to make those runs behind the strikers. You know who's like that? But obviously he's not going to say Sabitzer. And it was very evident in that game against Sevilla in the first leg when he had those 2 goals. Because it was the switch between him and Martial. He's
average, man. I want
to. I know. That's what I'm saying. He's not going to stay, but you need something like that, just in a better version, because sometimes that's what you need.
We have that though. The problem with Ten Hag right now, I don't know if he has that better version. Bruno again next season. This is why it's going to be key. Bruno had an absolute stinker today, but you can't take him off because there's nobody else out there that can maybe, I don't know, do the work rate that he's got, or maybe, I don't know, but he just is very persistent on certain positions. But then today, Martial, he didn't hesitate to take him off because he thought, you know what, Martial's probably not going to score, so I'll just replace the work rate, and that's why he put in Weghorst. Let's be real.
We need such a specialist 8. It's unreal. I want Barella more than, and I know we're not going to get him. That's his personal preference right now, but Barella would be so perfect because he can do everything you need in an 8. He can drop deep, collect the ball, can go forward, he can score goals, he can run beyond the man, and he's got energy, legs, and that's the sort of player we need. I know we need
I'll be honest, we need a lot.
We need a lot. But I'm saying we're talking about specialist 8. We're talking about a specialist 8.
We need a striker. We need an 8. We need a right side centre back. We need a right back. We need a goalkeeper. We need a lot. There's a lot to do. A lot of work.
Yeah, literally, man. There's a lot of work to do, man, and obviously, that's not coming with the quality we've got right now. Obviously, Sancho. I thought for me, Sancho, he played well 15 minutes and then he kind of faded away. I don't see where you mean with Kaz.
Second half, everything that I was slandering him for because I was getting annoyed with him. He was doing everything. I was like, cool. Passing a lot better. Actually taking on a man a lot better.
So we had a good game based on slander, not actually objectively looking at it as if it was actually a good game.
Yeah, he wasn't so overall, in the first half, he was misplacing passes, just like everybody else, by the way. But I'm going to say, why I'm picking on him, and not everybody else is because I see the same thing week in, week out from Sancho, right? That's the annoying part. Anthony's gave me a few good games. Cool. I'm not going to pick him out, even though he's having a terrible game. Probably worse than Sancho, to be fair. Every given overall, it's like for like. But for him, for me, it's just like, again, you're not suiting it. But then I see a Sancho come out in the second half, like, all right, you know what? He's a lot better. He's a lot better. To be honest, I didn't actually want him to come off in the end. He was the better player than Anthony overall in that second half. And I feel like bring a player off that's playing better in Sancho and take off the guy that's doing arse and cheeks at the moment, which was obviously Anthony. And it's just, I wanted Anthony to come off personally. He didn't even add anything but running.
But I think the one thing with Anthony, and this is like just by games that I've seen. So the Wolves game, for example, a couple of weeks ago, he might squander a few chances. He might misplace a few chances in the final third, but he at least tries and he gives you something in the final third. I just think for me, Sancho, like I've tried to defend him. I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt when he came back against Leeds, had that nice little cameo. I just think next season, if he doesn't perform, I think they'll get rid of him. And I'm not going to be surprised. Because even someone like Garnacho, against Wolves, for example, Garnacho comes on, and he's come back off after an injury. And the crowd feels it. The players feel it. He's feeling it. He created more.
30 seconds it took. 30
Garnacho,
seconds.
he created more in his little cameo than Sancho did that whole game. I know we're on about this game, but I just think there's come a point now with me anyway for Sancho where I'm just like, great talent. Just don't think it's going to work out at Man United. So goodbye.
I don't think it's the right game to criticize him because I've had my criticism of Sancho this year. I just don't think this is the game that you criticize him for. You know, it's
the thing is though, I don't think he did anything. That's the problem. The first 10 minutes, I think he did something, but the thing why I think why people are criticizing him because I don't think he has time left in terms of next season. If he's not the main guy anymore, I don't think he can then maybe look at it and think, you know what, I'm not being given chances. I think most people are thinking time's running out for you. You need to produce something for us now. But that's where I think the impatience comes from the fan base. Is that you've had 2 seasons now, like we've not seen it consistently enough. But then again, I don't think the forwards have. Anthony hasn't. We're only giving Anthony a pass because it's his first season. Martial hasn't. Rashford has obviously, been more effective than anyone this season. He probably deserves the least slack of them all. But and then obviously
this is the uncomfortable conversation. When I hear these things now, it takes me back to this back end December post World Cup January times, where if I'm being like completely objective, balanced, right? About in terms of you were to say this unit of the team, defense, midfield, attack, split up over the course of the season, the other 2 units have done their job more than the attacking lineup. That's the uncomfortable conversation. Like I've seen the defense
in midfield.
Defensively, overall, they've all done their jobs. With the ball, question mark. Midfield, I've had months from Bruno, months from Cass, early part from Eriksen. I look at the attack. Other than Rashford, who else has really been? What have we got this season? Really, a few moments from Anthony, work rate from Weghorst. Please, like, spare me all of that shit. What have we really got?
Nothing, innit?
A teenager trying to do his best.
Garnacho, that's just pure. I wouldn't call it luck because we signed him or whatever, but that was unexpected. Garnacho, that's just a bonus. Having him 5 games, I think it's 6 games he scored like in the last 3 minutes, 4 minutes coming off the bench. That's just a bonus. You look at the core senior players, the attackers have been the worst this season. They've been the worst. Martial, Weghorst, to some degree Anthony, and most definitely Sancho. I can't name 4 players who have featured as much as them in the other positions that have been bad as them.
Yeah, I have to let me on my last part on Sancho as well. It's like I don't want to see if we're gonna get new Qatari owners. I'm not gonna say something's gonna happen now, but I'm done with this. He might become good because every time you thought about that in the past 10 years, we're losing out. Like we bought Harry Maguire for 80 million. He's gonna go for 30 million. Obviously we're gonna probably make money on McTominay and Alanga because they're academy products. Okay, cool. All that. Or we paid 70 million for Sancho. What if it don't work out next season? Oh yeah, we've got Qatari owners. It's not gonna work like that. I'd rather just cash him on now. Like what? I just don't think he's suited to the Prem. I think he needs to go to a place where it's more like probably back to the Bundesliga, mate. Where it's a bit more relaxed and systematic, Serie A, I think Serie A would be too much for him personally, but I just don't think the Prem is suited for the intensity that he thinks he can play at, and he can't play at it currently anyways. Maybe in the future, you never know. But I'd rather just cash in 50 million and just get that money just in case anyways, and just move on. with life
Cass,
because
I think the
I'm not-
writing's on the wall. Like if you're really being put your preference and what you
Exactly.
think of this talent to the side and be realistic. Can you actually see a world, where he displaces Rashford and Garnacho and holds down a position on the left?
That's what I was saying though. That's
Or,
exactly what I'm saying.
like,
I can't
I'll
see
be
it.
honest, Ten Hag wants no competition for Anthony. That's his guy. Forget it. If we get a striker, I can't even see a world where Sancho starts 23, 25 matches side because of
that's what I'm
Garnacho.
saying.
The
Yeah,
writing's on the wall. Like, it's uncomfortable for people, but the moment he missed those 3 months of the season side, that's when I knew his time at Man United's likely not going to end well, and not because of my preference or bias or agendas. I
the way it is.
campaigned for this guy to come here for
Everyone's
2
preference
years.
when you look at him on the eye of what everyone's seen before. He's
Yeah.
that sort of player, but
It's just he's got an uphill battle, and I don't think he's going to win that battle.
And I hate the hopium that people think he can play 10 because he can't.
But he
Nah,
could have changed. He
10's
could have turned it around when he came back. He could have turned it around. He showed glimpses in that first game he came back against Leeds, but ever since then he just didn't show it. And that's the thing. Like, I agree with everyone. There was a time where I was like, "Oh no, it's fine. Give him time." But it's got to the stage where every time I see, especially as player Old Trafford, I'm just there like, I just don't know what you offer to us, and it's frustrating because there's clearly a player there, but it all comes down to
It's up to him because Sonny, like in my opinion, he's gonna go on holiday, and I'm thinking, no, bro. If you really want this, I think I've heard Patrice Evra said he had an awful 6 months at Man United on the podcast, and he went straight to train, no holiday, nothing. Went to work on himself. A bit what Rashford done exactly last year, worked on himself and got going again.
It doesn't matter when you can't. On the football pitch, it's different to training, though.
And Cass, all of those people, Ball FC, were mocking Rashford. You need to work on your IQ and your tech. That's what they were saying when they saw pictures of Rashford's PR's garbage. He needs to work on his tech and IQ. It's like, no, you cannot put. You don't matter what your ability or style of play is. If you're not at peak fitness in your best physical condition, you're not performing. Don't matter what type of football
I fully agree. And you can't afford to have a £72 million man on a bench when your actual number 10 costs less than that 70 million as well. I hate to say figures are a thing in football because that's why if Anthony's not going to get shifted, Amad Diallo's going to come in. He's going to get a chance. He's probably going to be Anthony's understudy anyways and get games there. He's clearly going to be in Ten Hag's plans. He's inviting him for the FA Cup final. Says everything about his future, really. And then we probably got to think about an understudy for a number 10 for Bruno because Bruno can't play as many games again. Every season he plays over. He needs to relax a little bit. And it's not his fault.
They say 68 games or so. How many games?
Yes, 68 games he's played this season.
That's what I'm saying.
Stupid.
You can't overplay him, man.
I would still give him a second season. Not second season, sorry. It's one more season. It would be his third. But I want to see him with a second season under Ten Hag. What's that?
I'll be honest. I don't. He can get the third season because we're not going to sign 2 attackers anyway. But
that's
like, I just don't.
You think we need to though?
I'm warning people. I think Cass is right. You have to be ruthless.
Yeah,
you can get somebody who can add value to your team now, rather than you're waiting and hoping that the player fulfills his potential.
Yeah. Okay, but let's be realistic.
Because think about it, because Garnacho. Okay, real quick. It means we've got 2 projects. No, we've got a project in Amad coming back, a project in Anthony, hoping he has a better second season, and a project in Garnacho, and that's 4 projects in your front line.
And a technicality issue as well within something else in the fan base.
You can't have 4 pet projects in your lineup trying to compete in this Premier League in the top 4. You can't have 4. That's too many. So Cass is right. In an ideal circumstance, you'd sell him and get somebody that can actually compete for those positions. Because I don't mind him getting the time. I'm just saying it's not going to end well, innit? Like, I'm just telling man, it's not going to end well.
That's the question, though. Go on, Saf. Go on.
Yeah, my bad, Saeed. I was going to say, because Cass said I would cash on him now. Let's be honest. If you cash on him now, you're not really making much out of him because you're not selling on a high. And not also that, you cash on him, what kind of replacements are you looking at? Because are you looking to trim the squad or are you looking to add someone else? Because I would rather still have depth.
By the way, is that question directed at me, yeah?
Anyway, we can all talk about it. It doesn't matter. I'm just saying you made that point to cash on, and I just don't think we can cash on him for a decent price. And the minute you cash on him for whatever price you're selling him for,
tell me what a decent price is. What's not a decent?
I honestly don't know. What do you think he can go for?
Because he's
already paid 75.
Yeah, but what would you rather?
He's 22 years of age, in my opinion. Yeah,
23.
He's still young, and 23 or something like that. 23 years young. He's still got a whole future. He's evident. There's evidence that man can play ball in it. There's evidence of it. But you're gonna have to chop. So Staffy, this is what I'm saying. you can probably get 50 million out of him. I 100% think you can definitely get that in this day and age. Yeah.
Yeah, but who's paying that, Cass? Because you
Dortmund,
just said you wanted.
I can see him going back to Dortmund. To be
But
fair,
these
yeah.
men don't have money like that. Only
They
the
won't,
Premier League
when
pays that.
Bellingham gets sold, they won't have money like this. They do have money, bro.
Cass, I gotta be
Anyways,
honest. You're both looking at this wrong. I have to be honest with you.
I'm not looking at it like that. I'm not looking at it like that. I'm gonna talk about the value side of it. When like I said, I don't see him getting over Garnacho and Rashford. Yeah, so I don't think he's gonna get a lot of playing time, anyways. Then I see the right hand side. Anthony's the main man. It's clear as day. So I don't think he's gonna get over Anthony. I don't think he's gonna be used as a 10 for Bruno, because I think Bruno is clearly the guy he looks to as in his trustee, because that's why he's played in positions where Sancho has played, because he trusts him more. So if he's going to keep devaluing in price, so why would you not get rid of him in the summer? It's more logical to get rid of him this summer, when it's obviously in hindsight, I don't think he's going to have major opportunities to get going and rhythm anyways for next season, regardless. That's why I would sell him. And I don't know who's going to buy him. I don't care who's going to buy him, but somebody's going to be interested in him, and a few teams will be interested in a man like Sancho. So that is just my way of looking at it. Maybe you can loan him out and then get him sold further towards the end. But I don't see him within Man United squad. And we got too much of a big squad. We need to trim it regardless and put some quality in there. Because there's too many players. I know we're getting rid of Phil Jones. I know we're getting rid of so-and-so, yada, yada, yada. That is all I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to do play FC at Man United right now. I just want to be the club I grew up on. That's it.
It's not a player FC at all. I get what you're saying, and I don't disagree with you. I'm just trying to brainstorm here this idea, because we already agreed Martial has to go, and Weghorst is going. So that's already 2 players in your attack that are going. You're adding a striker for quality. You need someone like an Osimhen, a Kane. I prefer Kane. That's 1 more player. But then selling another attacker, adding Diallo, who has no record in the Premier League. I know he had a great season in the Championship, but my personal preference was to loan him out again, because I wanted to give him the Foden treatment. Because look at Foden, how patient they were with him, and then he ended up.
We need him. We need him.
But you know what it is, Saeed? We're gonna put him in the squad, and we're gonna put so much pressure on him. And how old is he right now? 19. I don't want to put pressure on these young guys.
You're creating an issue that's not there. Anthony is the £80 million signing. There's no pressure on him. You just created that issue. Doesn't exist. You just created it. Right? It's very, very simple and straightforward. Garnacho, Rashford on the left, Anthony, Ahmad on the right. You've got 4 players for 2 wide positions. That's go get sell Sancho and Saeed. I don't care about the price.
I forgot about.
Manchester United, more than Sancho has.
Hold up, Manchester United need to start taking losses, financially, so they end up with a better football team.
Yes,
because actually, if your football's good, you make more money in the long run anyway. This is something Woodward never understood by hoarding players that he needed to get rid of. I'd sell Sancho and get another striker. Yeah, another striker. That's get Harry Kane and get an understudy or a versatile forward.
Versatile forward. I was going to say that's probably better for me,
because the pressure's on Rashford, Kane, and Anthony. It's not on Garnacho and Ahmad. So I'm saying to you that's the way I would go about it. I don't care. I don't care if it's 25 mil. We can be mocked, belittled. Oh, you sold him for 25 mil. If I end up with a better football team, I don't care. I genuinely don't care what the price is.
You could even put him in a deal with a Harry Kane deal given to Spurs. You know, Spurs are crying out.
No, I wouldn't want to give it to Spurs, because then for me, then it's not a rival. But I just think for me, you don't have to sell to them. I don't think you have to put him in any deal. You can sell him on his own right. You know what I mean? I genuinely think you can sell him on his own right and get. And this is the question I want to ask him. Big up Nadu, says showing support as usual. Big up Saeed and hardest worker on his YouTube street. Big up my guy. Big up on the panel. Big up the chat. Get the likes up, by the way. Much love. Yeah, man. Everyone watching, people, make sure you like the video, man. There's nearly 500 in the building. Make sure you keep liking the video. I think for me, the price tag will. When you said Staffy about price tag, we're not going to get the best price for him right now. Next season we'll get the price right for him. Next season, I don't think we will. To be honest with you, there's no right time to sell anyone. You know, if I'm being honest with you, now is the time maybe to cash in and get. I would say you could get, for me, Sancho. You could get about 60 million for him. I still think you could package him as a 60 million player.
I really don't think so, bro. I think we sell him for about 35 million, if I'm being very honest with you.
I'd agree with that price as well.
I really
take it and run.
Saeed, they're gonna lowball us, Saeed. No one is paying 60 million or 50 million for Sancho after the output he's had, because when you look at the output he's had and they see he hasn't played much, he hasn't had enough goals, hasn't had enough assists compared to his time at Dortmund. You're not only getting 15 million or 25 million off what you bought him for. You're gonna have to chop that by like half.
Why do people promote this lie? He put up his
What's
best
this
numbers.
one,
No, he
isn't it?
didn't. No, he didn't.
Which
I
one?
watched him every season of Dortmund. He didn't put up his best numbers as a second striker. It's a lie that these people tell.
Let me read the super chat. Let me read the super chat. I've been saying this from time. Sancho needs to play second striker. He literally put up the best numbers in his position in Germany. Nothing about Sancho tells me he's a winger in this day and age. He's definitely, for me, can't be a winger in the Premier League. I tell you that right now. He's not a winger in the Premier League.
But this is the thing. People are too obsessed with his profile. I don't even go there. The things that he's good at doing, he can't do because he's not in the right physical condition and not in the right mental condition. So he can't even be the best version of him anyway, Saeed, in any position. We keep doing this as Man United fans. Just move them here. Like, no. Yeah, if you've got it within you, whatever position you play in, you will show me something. Look at Saka when he was
FIFA, man.
in his first season under Arteta. Arteta played him at wing back. He showed something at wing back as a teenager.
You know what
Because
is for
he's
me,
got
though?
something within him. Like, I'm not seeing that from Sancho. It's got nothing to
But
do
let me
with
ask you
that.
a question. The thing is, for me, and big up to King Deuce. He said, big up gents from the States. Keep putting out top tier work, man, bro. There's 10, 15 gems around the world we could get. Minus Sancho, what's our dream midfield next season? Boy, for me, it has to be De Jong. I look at this team, I still need a De Jong. I don't care what anybody says. I'm back on the De Jong train. You know, because
I convinced you. Yeah, let's go.
No, it's not about convinced, man. I just know we still need De Jong.
It's a dream, though, isn't it? It's a dream scenario. So yeah, I agree. A dream scenario as well. Yeah. I just don't know why people look.
He ain't going.
I implore people to go watch Evra, Vidic in Rio's podcast, didn't it, and tell me how they looked at each other in the training ground today. I saw Sancho pull out so many, jewels, easy ones, and they nearly scored from it, Bournemouth, or create opportunities from it, from Adam Smith down there. Just little soft things like that, I can't see players like Sancho putting their body on the line when it needs to be done, even if it gets you hurt. Anthony does it. He don't care. He'll put his body on the line and he'll back himself, even though he's small. He'll back himself regardless against like Lewis Dunk and stuff like. It's just little things like that people don't pick up on because he's got pretty feet. I don't want to hear it. This is what I'm saying. I need more fight in this team. This team is too light. And I don't mean physically. You don't need to be physically sick in the game, by the way. I've seen Bernardo Silva put his body, and he's like 5'6" on the line. And people can't get a ball off him because he's got low center of gravity, and you just can't get a ball off him. Raheem Sterling's another one of them. It said he's a bit, when he comes to tackling, he's a bit tussy, but when it comes to actually holding up the ball, we can do it. This is what I'm saying. We need to stop putting us, I get it. Realism. We need to be realistic about our team. I've been realistic about my team for about 10 years, obviously a decade. But now there's an opportunity where you can move on from that and do something. That's all. I feel like people that are a bit younger will never understand.
Hey, Cass, we need players that are better without the... See what you're talking about there, Cass, as well, yeah? We need players that are better without the ball. Man United fans have become so obsessed with the football, they're ignoring the other side of the game. There's like when you don't have the ball, you trust these players to get it back. Do you trust these players to get it back? The weak links, by the way, like Martial and Sancho, they're two of the weakest links without the ball. They don't have the intensity. What Cass was referring to there, pulling out a 50-50, stuff like that. You're not seeing that with the top players in those positions. They're not pulling out. I'm thinking of Mane. I'm thinking of Mane in top under Liverpool. Like
Sancho's like 5'9", bro. He's small, bro. He's small, bro. Like I'm like what 5'10", 11, bro. Like, he's like 5'9", 11.
The height don't matter.
It don't matter.
The height don't matter, man.
Physically don't actually matter.
How tall is Bernardo Silva? Cause how tall is Bernardo Silva?
He's short.
No, he's 5'3", man. He's 5'3".
How tall is Gundogan?
He's
good with the ball and he's good without.
He's not 5'3".
By the way, on the midfield question, it's
Bernardo's height. I want to check.
5'3". 5'3" is like 5'3" is like female height.
Bro, he's 5'3", man. I'm telling you. Bernardo Silva is short, man.
He's 5'8".
He's like 5'7". 5'6".
Yeah, I'd say 7.
I'm telling you. Let me just get some of the super chats here. Big up Nadu says either we do that or we switch Sancho for João Felix. But these
guys just want to stay.
Selling Sancho. Trust me on this one. And he come there to kind of challenge you, Danny. He says, Danny, that's a false take. So you're trying to tell me if you put De Bruyne in the 6, he will play good. You'll stop the cap about he will perform in any position.
I'm saying if a player, he will show you something, if he's played in any of his favoured positions, then I'll tailor the argument. Left wing, 10, right wing, it doesn't matter. I've seen nothing from Sancho. all you probably need is a nice half turn and a 1-2, and you're convinced. I'm looking at football in its totality. He has shown he's been here 2 years, and I've got more good examples from Anthony in 2 years. Man United fans need to start paying attention to intangibles. Intangibles. Determination, resilience, mental strength, intensity, aggression in your style. You don't have to be 6'2" and physically strong to be aggressive in your style of play. That's why Kaz is referencing Gundogan and Bernardo Silva. They're not 6'5" and bullying people because they're stronger than everybody, but there's an aggression and intensity they play with based on their own profile. And by the way, I was going to say that question about the midfielder, we need the same qualities in the midfielder we want, by the way, as well. Yes, we want him to be good on the ball, a ball carrier, good on the half turn. But when he doesn't have the ball, I don't want him getting... I know Eriksen was good today without the ball, but I've got 20 more games where Eriksen's getting the run around without it.
No, that's facts.
Man United fans need to start thinking about both aspects of the game. Once you get all your ballers like João Felix, the other side of it is the best teams win the football back. Who are those players that are going to help us do that? Sancho's not one of them. People need to get over that.
Nedu says here, Sancho is a maverick. Put him on the damn pitch and tell him enjoy yourself. I promise you, he will shock the world. And he said, Danny, I love you, and you talk good football, but you're wrong on this one. You know,
fair enough. Let's agree to disagree, man. It's cool, man. It's fine.
Yeah. Guys,
you can look at Haaland's goals, though. Haaland's goals, you see a lot of Sancho's assists comes from either the left or the right, not behind the striker.
Maybe the striker's the issue, man. I don't know, man. Maybe we're just tapping
midfield, man. If your midfield can get you up the pitch, the second, third side, just to shift up so your defense can also shift up. I think we'd score a lot more goals, but no, you're right. Striker is obviously an issue in itself. But I think midfield, I can't lie, midfield is just as crucial, in my opinion, man. We don't control games away from home. It's not about scoring goals away from home. We were talking about creating chances alone. So what's really the issue when you think about it logically? It's probably the 8 situation or the midfield situation.
It's both.
Then also goes to intangibles as well, which is what Danny was saying.
Cass, what you just said
as well.
What you just said about the striker, this is why, like, there's a part of me that, like, as much as I agree with you guys, there's a part of me that just wants to see one more year, because I want to see, and I'll give you a very good example, with a good striker. Look at Grealish, and yes, last year people talked so much about Grealish, and I always defended him. Not that I'm a City fan or do I care about him. I just knew what this guy was bringing to his team, but people saw that he had no GA and he just got judged a lot. But when he got comfortable with the team, he got put next to an elite striker like Haaland. His GA went up in the same amount of games, and no one's talking about him anymore. And there's just like a little part of me where I'm like, what if he gets a second year under the same manager? Second year under that manager with Ten Hag. So I want 2 years with Ten Hag. So a second year under Ten Hag.
I disagree with you right there. You can't compare.
Grealish. It's not a direct comparison, but just they're very similar in terms of the profile of the player. Very quickly, what I'm trying to say.
In Grealish's first season, I still saw him be the fundamental player he is, someone who carries the football. You haven't seen that with Sancho. I don't know how many ways I have to say this to people that make these arguments. Tell me what he's shown you other than the fact he's talented.
Bro, I'm not disagreeing with you.
No,
I agree with you.
Now. I know. I'm just asking the question now. What has he shown you? What's he shown you?
Or just asking in general?
I'm asking you. What's he shown you? What has Sancho shown you?
But that's what I'm saying. I agree with you. We haven't seen enough. The only reason I made that comparison is just because of the profile of player he is compared to Grealish, because they're very similar as players. I'm not saying in his first year or this year he did what Grealish did last year. He still got slandered. The only reason I'm making that comparison is just the type of player that they are. And it's just like there's a part of me that wants to see him play with an elite striker so I can see, this is what I was waiting for, or you know what? Everyone was right. You need to go. That's the only thing that I'm trying to say.
Grealish as captain in Aston Villa side, he's aggressive naturally he's aggressive in his play anyways. He actually takes on players as well, and he draws fouls, not gets the ball nicked off of him because he'll run back and go get it. And
he's done it more this year,
yeah, he's done it, but that's not Sancho's game. Sancho's that's not it, man. Is the intensity of Premier League type pitch. He's just not used to it, and I think we just get grips with the idea. He's just not good enough currently, obviously as it stands, for Manchester United, regardless. And this is I just can't see it. Like I honestly think, if Elanga or Pellistri had the same minutes or amount of chances, I'm not saying they're good enough or they're definitely not as good currently as Sancho, like in terms of talent-wise, But I guarantee Alanga and all that would have been way more effective
No.
if they had the same amount of minutes for us in one shape or another.
Yeah,
No,
If
like-
it's not- there's simple
no,
things.
you're going too far there, man.
No.
Listen, let me
Hear me out. Alanga is arse cheeks, yeah. But I guarantee in some
Come on, man.
situations, he can jump and get us out of situation. The way we've been playing, Alanga would have probably suited us a lot more than what Sancho's been doing.
He did a lot of running last year, bro.
Yeah, but it's not just that.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of running, but
He did
not.
a lot of running for
Wait. Hear me out then, yeah.
There's no hear me out on this one.
I haven't seen Sancho put in a 7.5 performance in a Man United shirt, yeah? Cool. He hasn't put that in. So what is he really giving Man United? What is he really giving Man United? Stability in possession? No, not
That's
really.
a whole different point, though.
He gave us that goal. He gave us goals, a vital goal against Liverpool. Okay, cool. And if it's not Alanga and you disagree and you gave him the minutes, at least he's going to do the fundamentals well, where Sancho can't even do the fundamentals.
This is where the barrel. This is where
he's
scraping the barrel here, man.
Cass, you know what it is, yeah? Because you're naming a lot of players. With Sancho, this is my issue. Yeah? This is my issue. I haven't seen any consistency from him in the way he plays as an individual, right? I've seen good finishing, but you depend on your teammates for that to get in those situations. As an individual, what do you do consistently that I can say is your floor, your ceiling, your foundation for me to say I'm going to get more from you after you've established that? Grealish established something. He would carry the ball a lot. He wouldn't release it at the right time. His off-the-ball runs weren't good, but his ball carrying and aggression in his play was still there. So he had a base for Pep to elevate. At Sancho, I don't see the base. One of Sancho's strengths that people overlook, in the Bundesliga, I'd watch this boy in the penalty box, 7 people around him, only 2 Dortmund players in the box, and he'd find an acute pass. When I watch him in the Premier League, I can see him struggling mentally. Not the same. I keep saying, Sancho, I said this to you in like November, October after the Chelsea game, I think, Saeed. This ain't the Jadon Sancho that I know. This ain't the Sancho that I saw him doing things. I don't know this player.
No, I don't.
The fundamentals of his game that I appreciate, he hasn't shown me, and it's got nothing to do with the team is playing him. It's a him problem. That's why I can't bank on him.
What you just said about Dortmund, well, doesn't that show you what I'm trying to get out of here? Because I'm thinking what you just said was perfect. You just said there would be 7 defenders in the box, and he'll find 1 of the 2 attackers from Dortmund. But that doesn't show you that maybe you want that one striker that is going to be available in the box to finish a ball like that, because we don't have anyone that does that. Every time we get a chance like that, Martial's always outside the box, bro. Like, let's be very honest.
Point.
And this is the
point. You're not actually listening.
But this is actually the point.
I'll tell you why. So I'm doing a copy and paste. Yeah. So I'm doing a copy and paste of Sancho in the Bundesliga, low block by himself, finding an acute pass that's difficult, which is why we paid the 70 million. Come to Man United, exact same situation. Can you find that acute pass in that much traffic, and he can't focus or see the pitch, doesn't have the composure to, because he's not comfortable in this league. There's nothing to do with Haaland or who he's playing with. That's him. That's on him. Yeah, I've seen him find passes he has no business finding. Before Haaland, he didn't play his entire time at Dortmund with Haaland in the team.
Didn't he play 2 years with Haaland?
Yeah, he had a season without him. And again,
you know what?
Talking about the examples I'm thinking in mind, Saeed, when I was saying we pay 120 million for him, yeah, I was on that train. That's not because I'm seeing the striker do crazy movement. I'm saying, how is he finding these acute passes he has no business finding? It was that stuff, Saeed. That's why I wanted him for 120. That had nothing to do with Haaland or whoever else in the box. That's his vision, his composure, acute passes between a few players, bag a goal. I'll give you one good example, actually, from the Premier League this season. Remember when Leeds beat Liverpool and Nonto was trapped on the left, surrounded by 3 people? All he did was create an angle to find a pass into the box. That's all he did. And those basic fundamentals about Sancho's game that I appreciated for 3 years at Dortmund, I just haven't seen it at Man United. That's my issue.
You know what is as well? Big up Zayn Biassi. Arsenal will come back stronger and better. Well done to City. Listen, Zayn Biassi, man. Go smoke your shisha pipes, man. You know what I mean? Enjoy it tonight. Nedu says here, Rashford plays shit for 3 effing years and y'all give him the benefit of the doubt. And y'all roast me for...
See, it doesn't have...
I'm not hearing it, man.
I'm thinking Sancho over Anthony. I need a defensive right winger.
Okay, so I'm going to say it again, Saeed.
Rashford
played shit for 3 freaking years. He gave me goals. He gave me something. I keep asking, What is Sancho giving me when he's playing
You
shit?
know what? This is the overriding question, though. Are we
What is it?
accepting mediocrity though from pretty much everyone? Let's be honest, man. Like when you look
I was
at this,
alluding to, but you know.
when you look at Man United, yeah, a lot of the kind of questions is he tracks back, he does this, well, he performs here. Like, you know what it is here? It's not good enough. Like from all aspects of this Man United team, like it needs to be better next season. Like I'm telling you right now, guys, yeah, we could say, oh, you know what? But Sancho is nice on the ball. But you know what? This player, bro, we need quality, man. I want players who score goals, assist, they do everything. You see, Man City, that's a barometer. That's what it has to be. I don't care if it's the first year of the process of Ten Hag or the second year or third year. United should always have quality. We shouldn't be saying, oh, but give him time. We should come in here and be like, you know what? We paid for a player. Right, let's go on there. Let's see what they can do now. Like, I just feel like right now, there's a lot of copium going on. There's a lot of, well, exclusive for this player, exclusive for that player.
But
Bottom
Saeed,
line is, most of them not been good enough.
But Saeed, even the ones, I tell you this, if you give me something, then I can make an argument for you. Anything give me some type of substance as a player. I don't care. Even if you're Wan-Bissaka, if you're Wan-Bissaka, you give me one. At least I've got something. As an individual, Wan-Bissaka's played in Man United teams that have been subpar, good, in between. He's shown you one-on-one he's a beast. Say you want about Bruno, Messi football player. One season he's giving you goals, and another season, or every season he's creating chances. Rashford always goals. Luke Shaw this season, he's playing centre-back, and he's showing you something. Lindelof, I don't like Lindelof. I don't like him. I think he's soft, but he's proven me wrong. He's been aggressive. He's shown me something, Saeed.
Mm-hmm.
What's Sancho shown? What's he shown? Mm-hmm. That speech don't apply to Sancho. I'm sorry, Saeed. There are players in this team that I don't like. Even Dallo, I don't like him. He's shown me something.
No, he's not even playing.
In fact, everybody has shown me something. Even Malacia, who I think we should sell, apart from Sancho. What's he shown me? Not sure. In fact, I tell a lie. I'm lying. He's shown me good finishing. That's it. That's all he's shown me.
Listen, bro, I agree with you, and I don't want to come off like I'm player FC here. I'm really not. At the end of the day, listen, the only thing I care about. I don't think you're player FC.
I think you just got a lot of faith in the player. That's all. And
you know what? It's not faith. It's not faith. It's definitely hope, because, like, as you said, like you described him very well in his time with Dortmund. And what I'm trying to say is, you know, when you see a player and you know there's talent there, but just somehow you can't get it out of him, it's like you're trying to make excuses for yourself until you're actually proven 100% that you're wrong, or you're finally like, there it is. This is what I was waiting for. And I feel like it's just like there's a little bit more hope in me to at least give it one more run. But like you guys said, I don't really have time for sentiment anyways. I'm sitting here being devil's advocate with Sancho and saying all that. And to Nedo, because I think he made a mention to Rashford. It's not about directly comparing Martial to Rashford to Sancho. That's not what we're doing. We don't have to attack another player to prove a case about a different player. At the end of the day, like Saeed said, we're looking for quality. And if you tell me, listen, I know you want Sancho to work out this and that. However, if we sell him, we can actually sign this player or that player, and they're guaranteed to come in and be better because they're already performing well. I'll be like, you know what? As much as I like Sancho in this, I like my team more. I care for my team more. I actually want to win. I don't care at the end of the day if Sancho's in the team or if he's not in the team, or if Rashford's in the team or if he's not in the team. I don't care who's a part of my team. If you tell me we're going to build a team that's going to go back to winning, then I don't care who's a part of it. It's just like, unfortunately, you have to chop some players as you go. So if he has to go, he has to go. But it is what it is at this point.
I've got a super chat here as well from Ned, who says, Sancho creates chances. Stop it. We do not have killers in front of our goal. Check the numbers. I love Anthony, don't get me wrong, but he hasn't done any better than Sancho has, in my opinion.
Nah, Anthony's done a lot better, bro.
You know
Anthony's
what?
done a lot better, bro.
Yeah. I think it comes down to the overriding factor is that, you know what, like, we're scraping the barrel in it. Like, we need better, man. We need better, man. That's just the bottom line in it. Like, we can have these debates about this player versus that player, but ultimately, you know what I mean? Even when I look at Rashford, I like Garnacho, but I think for me, the pressure of stepping up if Garnacho is Rashford is in there, I'm not so sure. You know, I think we need another power position. If Sancho is going, I would want maybe a position there. And I think Sonny, you said there, Kolo Muani or something like that. Just maybe someone that can play across the front three.
Even Marcus Thuram, for example, he'd be cheap as well.
Yeah, 100%. You know what I mean? I think for me, you kind of probably would need quality there. I think the whole squad needs dissecting and sorting out the midfield that we haven't discussed. I think there's a problem there as well because we're going to sell players as well. So there's problems all around, man, guys. Man, let's be honest, man. It's not just the keeper as well. There's a lot of issues about the keeper.
I can't lie. I'm not trying to hear it. He's created 7 big chances this season alone.
I was gonna go get my one as well.
So basically, he just said, "Go check the stats." I mean, Nedu, I mean, you're completely making up false narratives there, my friend. So he's created, and this is on Premier. And by the way, this is on PremierLeague.com. Big chances created 7 the whole season, and he played
chances.
He's got 5 assists to be fair to his name as well, but it's not good enough. And guess what? He's only put in 44 crosses this whole season.
I love Sancho.
Yeah.
It's just like, so
don't get me wrong.
He's not done bad though, man. He's got 8 goals.
You know what they do? I'm gonna hook you up. Let me see how many actual chances. I'll do this just for you, man, because 7 is bad. Your boy Sancho's looking bad out here, do, man. Let me try and find out how many.
He goes here. Don't get me wrong, dude. I'm not about Sancho. I'm not saying Sancho is world class beater, but I just feel like we are underestimating this guy's talent. Much love to you guys, man.
We're not.
We underestimated Paul Pogba. That's like saying Paul Pogba. We underestimated his talent, but it wasn't the case. If you don't show it, you can't talk about the what ifs. At the end of the day, if you don't produce, you don't show anything, you can't talk about how good someone is. That's as simple as that. There's so many players have come through Manchester United since Fergie's left. Alexis Sanchez, we all know what he could have brought. Did he show it? No, you have to get rid of him. Di Maria, I know he obviously had the whole thing with his house, for example, but again, great talent, great player, didn't work out. You got to get rid of him. Sancho, like I said, I started off the conversation with Sancho talking about how, I've tried to give him the benefit of the doubt, but it's time to go, in the words of the great Claude Caligari. So, yeah, I think it's time for Sancho to go, but let's see what happens in the summer.
One of the things that it's your ability to apply your talent. It's application of talent. That's what a lot of. As soon as people see tech and skill, they miss the part where you have to have substance with it. Can you apply your talent? You can have someone who has less talent than a player, but because physically and mentally is where he needs to be, he can showcase his ability. Sometimes not even in the best teams as well. With Sancho, it's not a talent problem. I don't think anybody here on this panel thinks it's a talent issue.
No.
I think we all agreed on that. But you said it perfectly. It's the application. It's not the possession of that talent. We all know it's there. It just hasn't been applied a lot, which is.
And if you're one of these perfect conditions footballers, Man United ain't the club. This ain't the perfect conditions. We need guys who can come in and solve problems, like Casemiro. These weren't perfect conditions for Casemiro. I know he's older, he's elite, but unfortunately, that's where we're at. And if you look at what Ten Hag did this summer side, it's not a coincidence. If you look at Malacia, I don't rate him, but I can see his mentality. In Martinez, I can see his mentality. In Casemiro, it's not a coincidence Ten Hag signed 4 players who show you their mentality. He identified a problem, identified a weakness, and said, I need mentality in this team. Same applies to Sancho.
Yeah. It's 100%. Said it's Nedu Sancho's lawyer. We need better, said Freddie. And I think he wants you to do. We forget he missed 2 full months, and compared to his Anthony and the games they played. You know what though? It just gives you an overriding feeling of Harry Kane scoring the goals. You've seen Harry Kane today. Ten Hag must be thinking, he wants a striker in. He wants someone in there. I think there was a report saying that at least one midfielder and one striker this summer. Sonny, that's the case, isn't it? Then is it for you, Harry Kane? You seen him today as well? What a lovely goal that was as well today, man.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. Every time I'm on, luckily on the debate show, I always talk about Harry Kane. If we can get him, you have to get him now. There's an opportunity that Spurs won't even make Conference League, which means they'll just be in the domestic cups. We all know Spurs haven't won a cup since 2008, so it's not looking likely at this point if the likes of Mourinho and Conte have come in and not won the cup with them. So, listen, trophies are one of them things. It all depends on Harry Kane now. What does he really want to do? If he's serious about leaving, he'll push for it this summer. And if we come in with a bid, I think they'll accept it, Tottenham, because they need a rebuild as well, because it's come to the stage now with Spurs whereby they're not really going to be competing for top 4 next season. So what are they really going to be competing for? The cups? I can't see them winning any of the cups either. So I think now as well for Spurs, once they get this new manager, and I think they're looking at Feyenoord's manager at the moment, they need a proper reset. And it's one of them things. It's like, for example, I watch a lot of NBA. There's a Damian Lillard. He's at the Portland Trail Blazers. The guy is always known for his loyalty Everyone kept saying to him, "Oh, you should leave, go chase a ring, etc." He hasn't decided to do so. He stayed at Portland. But the thing is, for someone of Harry Kane's ability, for him not to have a trophy of any ilk by the time he's retired is a sad indictment. You can have the whole record of the most Premier League goals, which you'll probably get in the next couple of seasons, should he stay in the Prem. But not having a trophy isn't really befitting of someone of Harry Kane's ability and talent.
Yeah.
You know what, Sonny? That Damian Lillard comparison was perfect. I think it's actually perfect because they're both elite players in their own sport. And what NBA teams tend to do, if anyone doesn't watch NBA, basically they do something where they say they're just gonna blow up the team. How they blow up the team is because they don't have transfers as like in football. They basically just give up their star player and they get a lot of young players and they're like, let's go again. For football, it's a little bit different because obviously you get a fee for it. So if you can sell Kane, if you're Spurs, you sell Kane, you reinvest in that team, you bring in a new young upcoming coach or whatever they want to do and reinvest in that team. That's the best thing to happen for them. And that's why Kane also has to go, because it's like, do you want to be a part of a new young project that's going to take years anyways to show if they could achieve anything with no guarantees? Where you also have Manchester United just down the road over there needing an elite striker to compete next season, go into the Champions League and do something, try to compete for the league, pick up any trophies they can to just get back to where they are. I think it's, to me, because I really want Kane, I think it's a match made in heaven. Considering the circumstances that we're in right now, I don't see any fit for us better than Kane, and I don't see any fit for Kane better than us.
Yeah. Anyone agree? Sancho has lost his pace only at age of 23. I don't think he had any pace, to be honest with you.
No, he
that's
didn't.
the way he kind of like plays. But
I mean, he has pace, but it's like if you're not Rashford, it doesn't mean you don't have pace. Like he's got.
It's not his game, yeah.
I don't think he's got pace if Ruben Neves is keeping up with you, to be honest.
But do you know what that is? You know? He's just not in peak physical condition.
Yeah. That's a key question, though. Is Ten Hag going to be about pace, or do you think it's going to be about technicians? Because you got Ahmad, who's going to be here next year. Obviously, you got different players and one. Do you think the manager will go with pace? Because he might go with Kolo Muani. He might not go with Harry Kane. Harry Kane might not be the one that we go and get. That might be down to preference. That might be down to the fact that we are slow to put a bid in and we miss out on him. He might end up going for a different type of striker. Like, what do you think Ten Hag's kind of talent ID will be? Because I'm still not sure what he's going to go for, you know. And that is sometimes a bit, not worrying, but I feel like I need to know what sort of player you're going to get, because he's had Brobbey before. Is it Brobbey for Ajax?
Yeah.
He's had obviously Haller. He's had obviously Tadic as a number 9, as a false 9. What do you think he's going to be? Anyone want to?
He's had Dolberg. Ten Hag likes different profiles. I warned people a year ago. A lot of people are asking for Ten Hag, thinking that he's Spanish. He's not Spanish. He's a Dutch guy. Yeah, he got it out of the mud. His first club was Go Ahead Eagles, for God's sakes, right? He likes quality players. He doesn't care side. Give him a technical striker or a tall striker like Haller, who keeps it simple, false 9. He doesn't like, as long as it's quality and he thinks they're the right player. And listen, I was wrong about Gakpo, by the way. Respect Ten Hag's talent ID. Go talk to Liverpool fans about Gakpo. Let's see what they're saying. Those comps of Gakpo were nonsense. They didn't represent his game properly. He was looking like Marcus Rashford. He's nothing like Rashford. Very, very technical player.
Very technical, yeah.
Very versatile as well. Which some people
again is that worrying then? Because he wanted Rabiot. He wanted De Jong. He settled for Casemiro. He wanted
Darwin Núñez. I don't want Núñez.
He wanted Darwin Núñez. He got, obviously we kept Ronaldo, and obviously we didn't buy a striker. I don't know, man. It's a bit of a weird one, you know, like with what he wants versus what he settles for. Is it going to be? I feel like I'm kind of sorry for him in a sense. He wants a lot of players, but he ain't going to get them because obviously the board are absolutely competent. So it could be a weird summer, man. I'm just not sure, man. I'm going to get a super chat here from Nedu. He says here, I do not want Kane. Give me Ramsus Højlund, strong, fast, good header. Good header, isn't great with back to goal, but he can be coached and has a great shot on him. Yeah, listen, he's got a wonderful left foot, man. I think he's that in the grace. He went Arnautovic. We're forgetting, you know.
Bloody hell.
You wanted Arnautovic.
Yeah.
Yes,
It's
but when
mad,
you
know.
look at it, this man got Weghorst. At this point, Narkovic isn't really that bad of an option considering that we got Weghorst later, like 6 months later, or
Would have
whatever.
been better off.
Yeah,
no,
so when you look at it now, actually that wasn't so bad. But it just shows you that he was actually scraping the bottom of the barrel. There was nothing for him to get. You know,
Yeah.
I don't think he's gonna go into the summer wanting the same thing. You know, especially
I
with
think-
all these options coming up, Hoyland and
think
Osimhen
Gonzalo
and
Ramos
Kane
is-
and all them,
Option.
Kolomouani. I
So
think
you
we can
think-
get more than one side. I don't know why we have to settle for one. I mean, like, look at us in the past side. We used to have like 4 strikers that we can depend on. You know, every one of them was different profile. There was a time where we won the league with Van Persie, Rooney, Chicharito, and Danny Welbeck, and all of them were different profiles. Welbeck played absolutely different than everyone. He was more about the pace and the physicality. Chicharito was just like that fox in the box. Van Persie, obviously, we know he's more of a complete striker. You know, Rooney used to like to drop deep and play that 10 role. We don't have to settle for one man. I don't like that notion that we can't get more than one man. Why can't you get Kane and also get a Hoyland or a Kolomouani or something?
I want Evan Ferguson. but we're not gonna
So
get
you
him.
agree?
Or
we should
Evan
sell-
Ferguson. Yeah, I totally forgot him.
So do you agree that we should sell Sancho and get 2 strikers?
Is that
Then I wouldn't mind. Trust me. Listen, I said I'm devil's advocate, but I really don't mind. As whatever benefits the team at then, bro. Trust me.
I'm
There's a
playing
reason
with
why I
myself.
have the stadium behind me and I have Fergie's picture. I don't have a current player's picture or a jersey behind me because I have no loyalty for anyone like that. I have loyalty to my club.
Fair play, you know. Fair play that, you know.
Do you think Alvarez? Alvarez is the same as Haaland? They're not the same.
Bro,
I think
we are
good
probably
strikers.
them, man.
I think good strikers display similar traits in terms of having good movement in the penalty box. But
And this is why Alvarez played on the wing a lot for his country in the World Cup. He wasn't just a striker most of it because it was they started with Martinez and then they started bringing him in, and he was playing all up that front 3. That's what I'm saying. There could be options, bro. We don't have to settle for
Bro,
just
you know
one
what it is?
profile.
No Delhi, no selling Sancho. You know what it is, bro? Kind of round up the podcast and whatnot. I think we just need players who are that have a bit. They can play more. Look at Bernardo. Bernardo at one point was playing left back. IQ. We need footballers with IQ, man. If you give me footballers with IQ, I then can be confident enough that whenever he plays, he will play to his best ability, if not more. Right now, we don't have players who can do that, and that is ultimately, you know.
Since we're doing what abouts, it kind of makes Ragnick not seem like a delusional person no more when he said we needed 10 new stars.
Open heart surgery. The guy wasn't lying, bro, when he said it.
Yeah,
People
he
thought
wasn't
he was shit.
he lied about other things.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Danny set out propaganda. You know, Danny set out propaganda for John Murto. That's the problem. Danny was his faces ready.
You know what?
John Murto propaganda.
John Murto doesn't get on camera lying about transfers he was going to do. Don't do Ragnick.
John Murto went all the way down to Europe and did nothing.
Okay, he was doing his job. I don't want someone on camera. So
no, hold on a minute. Which was worse?
Let me look at my crystal ball.
Which was worse?
Was it him that went down to the guys on the bench or something to do a bit of PR?
The guy told you I would have signed Vlahovic. I would have signed all the signings that were done by other bloody football clubs in January. You would have done, and you guys lap it up. That's my problem with Ragnick.
Which was worse, though? Which was worse? An actual sporting director.
Comparable.
Hold on a minute. An actual sporting director going out to different countries and not getting the job done.
They're not
How are they not comparable? That was worse.
Okay, so let's think about this. I had an interim manager displaying a conflict of interest for my football club, speaking as a sporting director because he fucked off the interim manager job because he knew those players were garbage.
He never fucked it up.
He's in a press conference, and after every press conference, let me show Saeed and Kaz how good of a sporting director I am. That's what he was doing. What's that got to do with Murto? Nothing. There's no connection.
Okay. But you're here glossing over Murto, who went all around.
I'm not glossing over. I haven't addressed it. I'm not glossing.
You're trying to make Ragnick look bad. And put John Murto as some sort of.
I don't like Ragnick lying about stuff he was never going to do. And you know what I love about Castle?
You know that why.
One sec, Danny, you just taken. You're doing something you don't usually do. I didn't say that. I didn't say Ragnick was going to say it was doing anything. I just said, in one truth, it was kind of true when he said we needed about 10 new players.
Oh no, that stuff is true.
That's all I was
Yeah.
picking. I don't care about what John Murtough and that's doing and all
I
that.
just don't like
Happened
Ragnick
ages ago.
propaganda.
But I'm just talking about Ragnick when you said that. It's like, bro, when you deep it, it's like when you think about how many starters Man United need this summer, you probably need a centre back starter. Let's be honest. You probably need a right back. You need a goalkeeper. That's 3. You need a centre mid. You need a striker. That's 5 names I've given you, and everything else comes probably down to preference.
And you know what it is?
Can I ask you a question, Danny? Would you reckon Ragnick
second.
would have done his job?
1 second.
No.
His fanboys never mentioned he wanted Haidara and Zakaria. They never mentioned that. They make up lies about other players he wanted. Ragnick would have been a consultant.
Enzo Fernandez.
No. What's that got to do with Ragnick? Nothing. There's nothing to do with Ragnick.
So you're bringing up what then now? What are you bringing up now?
Don't promote. You don't see my tweet about Enzo Fernandez.
No, but what are you bringing up now then? The ones he's talking about, Zakaria, he said.
Oh yeah, people never bring up those deals. They make up stuff about Enzo Fernandez, who, by the way, Benfica bought 75%. No. This is what bothers me about Man United fans. Benfica buy 75% of his sporting rights, and then people like Saeed tell me Man United could have did the deal. How do Man United sign a player when only 70% of his rights were available that summer? How do we do that deal? Is third-party ownership allowed in the Premier League?
I don't know though, man. He went for the cheap options, but he also wanted not just Man United. He also wanted like other players as well. But then you can say about that, there's a lot of cheap deals because remember the same thing he's done. They were trying to do to Ollie and all that. But
I'm not blaming it on Ragnick, by the way.
Ragnick said the exact same thing about Liverpool when Klopp got there, and Ragnick would have been 100% right. It still took Jurgen Klopp how many summers to execute? So
listen,
at the end of the day,
this is different
Ten
now.
Ten Hag and the new owners who are coming soon have a job to do. Yeah. They have a job to do. It's simple.
Listen,
I want to hear Ragnick prop, man. I can't stand that.
No, we're not going to do that because obviously you get a bit twitchy when we talk about Ragnick.
He annoys me, Saeed, man.
You know, it annoys you because at the end of the day, it could have been what could have been Ragnick. That's what it is.
No, because
anyway,
when he was announced, I was so excited when Ragnick was announced. Then I heard consultant. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Then I saw him as the interim manager get on camera and was like, oh, if I slate Man United, everybody loves it. And he just kept doing it. And I'm like, now you're not even a consultant and you're not here. You fumbled the bag. I don't rate you. Get out of here. Simple.
Okay. Freddie Marcel here says, big up to you, my guy. Remember the channel as well. Big up to you. Get Kane, Kim Min-jae, Madison, Rabiot. Bring back Diallo. We'd be cooking. More technical players.
We wouldn't.
And more IQ. Big up the panel.
Big up to Freddie.
I don't know about the Rabiot part. Everything else sounded great though.
Yeah.
No rate.
Saeed, before we go, we got to mention something, bro, because it doesn't sit well with me that we've been on for an hour plus and we still haven't mentioned Liverpool. And I just need to, before we wrap up, we need to talk about the
You have the last laugh.
I'm gonna have the last laugh.
You're taking my line, innit?
I'm gonna let you go. You know what? I'll let you go after. Just
you're one of them guys that are in my inbox. You're one of them guys that put me in the thing. Don't go to DR. Don't do this. Why are you saying that, Kaz?
No. Stop. I didn't go. Listen, bro. I didn't go into your inbox.
I think I counted 4 times. Yeah, 1 on a normal reply, 2.
That's it. It was
3 on stream, bro.
No. It was 1 on Roms. Something like that.
I'm gonna take that slide. You're not even Staffy. To me, you're just you're the United fan.
Nah, chill, bro. It was that one comment, and you replied to it, and that was it, bro. There was no hate after that. And then you told me I'm going to the West Ham one, bro. But listen,
I told you, Staffy, like, United fan, shall I say your name is now. So I'm still gonna go. If you don't want me to go, pay me. My PayPal's open.
Nah, bro. You know it's all banter. But listen, bro, I would never go abusing your DMs anyways, unless you're a Liverpool fan. I don't like them.
On behavior, man.
Nah, bro, come on. You know it's
you don't go like you knew he was always gonna do top 4 when he was in the mud. I do certain things because I know what it takes to be a content creator these days. I believe, and it's just like I always knew he was getting top 4. That's why I put my line on it. That's why I put my chest on.
Hold on. I did the same, bro. There's not one moment.
No. Hold
on.
You're what a Boutry kind of guy.
No, bro. Listen,
I'm the most shameless United fan.
Me making a joke about you. Listen, no. Hold on.